Well, good morning. It's a Monday morning, just a little bit after 7 o'clock. We are en route to Van Nuys, California, going to the Los Angeles County Superior Court this time. If you recall, a few months back, we had to go to Van Nuys once again for small claims court. I have a 14-year-long aquarium service customer that didn't want to pay his bill. Over the course of 14 years, once and twice a month, he assumed he had a tab. I made the mistake of letting him run a tab, and over that period of time, he went from a couple $100 balance to a $1,200 balance. When I approached him last July, he got all pissy and as usual when it came to paying money. And when I showed up for the service, he left half the money, $600. As I mentioned before, there's just no reward in getting paid for half the job. So after 14 years of servitude, I terminated the service. One of the frustrating things was no response. You would think after 14 years he would have said thanks for the work, or sorry it didn't work out, or so what, you're screwed, but never heard nothing. Sent him statements for the next 5 months, no response. So I did what you're supposed to do when someone doesn't pay their bill. Took him to small claims court. In January, we went to small claims court, and the judge ruled in my favor. I guess provided me the judgment. She did prorate it for whatever reason, down to $400 and some. The original amount, $582. The service customer, being an attorney, obviously knows the law, and he has appealed that decision. So this morning, we're en route back again to the court in Los Angeles, this time Superior Court, and basically the whole thing starts over again. I'm going to try to take a very simple approach and contain the issue, specifically to the $582 that he owes me, and the fact that I've been servicing him for 14 years. I'm sure, as he did last time, he's going to act like a Democratic presidential candidate and throw mud all over the place, just make a dirty issue out of it. I'm sure he'll try to bring up some weird, bizarre things about me, trying to distract the issue. What I need to do is try to keep the focus on the fact that he hasn't paid his bill, and that the issue is not me, is him, and that he owes me $582. It's rather frustrating to have to go through all this time, effort, getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. But you gotta do what's right. I'm in the right. I know I'm right. Here's what happens when you don't stand up for yourself. Just keep moving forward. Kick some ass. So here we are, once again, going to small claims court, part 2, the appeal. And I can't take the camera in, so you'll kind of have to get the info afterwards. But we're going to present our case once again. So it's now 9:15. We were in court for a whole 45 minutes. We were the first ones up and the first ones out. My former service customer did show up with a witness who was his new aquarium service guy, who did come up to me before and talked a little bit, and then came up with me afterwards and talked quite a bit. The results of the trial, unknown at this time. The judge will take it all under advisement, make a decision, and then mail it out. My customer, former customer, did acknowledge I'd been working for him for 13 years. He made certain comments that really weren't true. Cash payments and me having financial problems and things like that. And I told the judge, none of those statements are true. I do believe that one of my better points in the court debate or argument, whichever you want to call it, this morning, was when the former service customer said, "Oh, I pay all my bills on time, my pool guy, my gardener, I pay all my bills on time." Well, that gave me the chance to hand to the judge statements showing his balance for the last 7 years. I handed it to him. He probably spent about 30 seconds reviewing each page. I had marked the column where it was the balance, and he says to the defendant, the person I'm suing, he says, "It appears as though between 2000 and July 2007, you've had a balance, a monthly balance, of $90 to $1,002. And he looks at the defendant and he says, "How do you explain that?" And of course the defendant is up. "Well, I'm an attorney. I'm out of town quite often, so I don't always have cash, and I'm trying to give him what I can." But obviously he's not paying the full bill. So hopefully the judge took that into consideration in regards to why he's not paying his final $582. So we got a response from the Superior Court today in the mail. I wanted to share that with you. Let's see. James Boyd, Aquarium Design, plaintiff, dickhead, defendant. The appeal of the defendant and the appellate herein from judgment of small claims court. It is ordered, adjudged, and decreed that said plaintiff and respondent take nothing by his actions, and that said defendant and appellate have judgment for his costs in Superior Court in the sum of $0. Take nothing by his action, and that defendant have judgment for his costs in Superior Court in the sum of $0. So he appealed the original small claims court decision, and according to this, which I'm really quite shocked, I'm to take nothing, and that the defendant, the guy I'm suing, has judgment in his costs in Superior Court in the sum of $0. I guess I didn't win. I guess I get nothing. That's a disappointment. That's 8 months worth of waiting. The old phrase, "there's no justice," really at times like these rings true. I don't understand. You know, from a small business person's point of view, I don't understand the justice system. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I worked for this fellow for a long time. After many years, he allowed his bill to rise way up to the point where I simply couldn't afford to keep him. I terminated the service. I sent him statements for 5 months. I took him to small claims court. I received a judgment from small claims court. He, as a sneaky attorney, appeals it, and with a new judge, gets off scot-free. I just don't understand this justice system. I do know this, though. I'm not going to waste my time pursuing legal issues in the future. I'll come up with some other clever way of resolving my problems, starting first with not allowing anybody to have that kind of time frame to pay their bill. You've got 30 days. If you can't pay your bill in 30 days, I don't want to service you. I don't want to be involved with you. You're not worth being involved with because you're going to become a problem. And we already know pursuing a legal issue is a waste of time, waste of money, a waste of effort. And what really hurts is getting screwed by a customer who I've been taking care of for 13 years. Talk about lack of appreciation. Talk about a jerk. Talk about an... Well, we do know this. We stood up for ourselves, and the justice system didn't stand behind us. So, keep moving forward. Just cover your ass in the future. And if it wasn't bad enough getting screwed by small claims court, or not supported by small claims court, now I get this in the mail. Jury summons. Superior Court of California.